Silver's on the scene. It is Sunday, February 23rd, a little bit after 6:30 in the p.m. Atlanta, Georgia, Eastern Standard Time. Hope everyone's weekend has been great, fantastic. You've relaxed, you've rested, maybe you had some fun, and you're looking forward to the week ahead. This will be a very interesting week when it comes to Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. Let's keep his awareness alive. Let's find him. Let's get justice. Have you seen me? $250,000 reward. What do we know? And before you see me throw my disclaimer up and give you my opinions, we know this. We can say his name. And it's Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. Least you can do, the absolute minimum, say his name. Throughout your day, say his name. Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. He's been gone now 363 days. Now, my days of how long Sebastian's been gone go back to when he was reported missing, as you can see on this Amber Alert, February 26th. Now, what's interesting is this. We all know each year has 365 days in it. So in 2 days will be a year, but we had a leap year last year. So if you look at your calendar for this week coming up, Friday ends the month of February, which it normally does every year at 28 days. But every 4 years you have that extra day. And we had the 29th day. So Sebastian actually disappeared on a leap year. So when the 26th comes this Wednesday, it'll be 3 more days. He'll be gone 366 days. Just kind of unusual, that he went missing on a leap year. So when 365 comes, which will be Tuesday in 2 days, that's when he went home for the last time, and somewhere between that 6:30 or 6:45 till 6:30 the next morning, he vanished. So that's 11 months and 4 weeks. 11 months and 4 weeks, typically 4 weeks in a year. So you're like, hey, yeah, we're pretty much right at a year, right? So the anniversary of when he was reported missing will be this Wednesday. And I'm sure there'll be a lot going on with that. Here's the big thing. No distraction in finding Sebastian. Everybody's doing what they feel like they should need to be doing, and keep doing what you think will work. Because no matter what you're doing, you're saying his name. Okay? If you come on and you say we're here for Sebastian Rogers and you miss it and when you did, and you don't say his name for 30 minutes later, at least you had his name in your title, or you said it when you started. So this keeps his awareness alive. Okay? And the creators I shared with you on my last, 2 videos ago, because we searched on the last video, and we're about to talk about that. But those creators are doing great, and they'll continue doing great because they keep his awareness alive. And I'll even throw Sweetie Paolo in there. Sweetie Paolo, apologies. I meant to put you on that list, and, as I said, there will probably be some people I left off that I forgot. Apologies there, because you've done really great work speaking with neighbors and locals and doing your best to find Sebastian. So no distraction. Bring him home. That is the goal. Okay? So once again, say his name. Keep his awareness alive so we can find him. No one can know he's missing if they don't know he's missing. So if he's out there and he is still with us, how are people going to know this is a missing boy without seeing his photo or this flyer you see in front of you? So let me jump in here really quick, just throw up this disclaimer. You know what it's about. I'm going to say some things in here, and I typically say it anyway, in my opinion. Do your own research. Thank you for your support. Really, really means a lot. So the focus of this video, let me see if I can find it right here. The focus of this video, and this is the thumbnail you clicked on. That's my arm and my hand. How'd you like the red gloves, huh? Yeah, change it up a little bit. But I was out so today is Sunday the 23rd. Yesterday was a week ago. Last Saturday, which would have been the 15th, I was out looking for Sebastian, back in Hendersonville, back in the woods, searching for Sebastian Rogers. And it was rough terrain. My original thought was I'll be out 2, maybe 3 hours. I had a lot of different things I wanted to accomplish. One being get to the car that's randomly out there on Drake's Creek. That was inaccessible. And then getting to where this thumbnail is from and where I wanted to start the search was inaccessible for several hours. If you saw the video, then you saw me going around the town and, looking at signs. I did do a drive by the home. His sign is still up in the front of the home. I'm going to state my opinion here because we all have a right to it. I think it needs to be straightened up, right? Something I would do if, allegedly wouldn't have people running out and yelling and screaming at me. But didn't do any videos there, okay? But yes, I did a drive through, saw some signs that were down. There is one more sign over by the beach market that I remembered later that I didn't get a chance to see if it was up. Because when I'm in the town, typically where I go and how I move around, I see these 3 signs. One over by the middle school, which is down from his high school, across the street from the storage building and beach market. One at beach market, and then one at the voluntary. It's the Shackle Island Fire and Voluntary area where that was the command center. So all these are right around a mile, the furthest a mile from his home. So within a mile of his home. And I focus, as I always have, back on Drake's Creek. If you go back and watch all of Silvers on the Scenes searches, I was heavily, heavily invested in Memphis and Horn Lake for a very, very long time to where I wasn't even doing anything much in Hendersonville. And as I kept doing my research and looking into different things, talking with guides, I've been working with Tara. Check out her channel. I put the link in my last video. And Tara's great. She's matter of fact. Okay, I've worked for some other psychics as well, mediums. I'm not really sure if that's what Tara likes. I call them guides. And they've all been great, really care and want to find Sebastian. But as I started working closer, especially with Tara, then here's what happened. It wasn't hey, Tara's telling me to go here and I went. I already had these feelings built up. I already had feelings that that this boy was somewhere near Drake's Creek. Okay, this boy, say his name, Sebastian Rogers. So I already had this feeling because you. So let's just say you go somewhere 10 times, 10 different places, for whatever your reasons are. And after you've gone to 10 different places and you think back on each 10, what gave you the best feeling? Let's just use a happy feeling. So you go to 10 different events or 10 different amusement parks or 10 different whatever to have fun, and one just really stood out to you and it made you feel so good, you would want to go back to that one. Well, not in the good feeling, but in the sad feeling, in the weird feeling, in the I fully believe Sebastian was there at some point in time feeling. That's why I keep going back to Drake's Creek. And even when I was about to maybe possibly check another area, guides like Tara and others brought me back to Drake's Creek. And if you ask people that searched, you look at the comments on my last video, you will see people that say stuff like, this place gives me the creeps. This place feels weird. I've never been nervous or afraid or creeped out by Drake's Creek, but the vibrational force, if you will. Okay, so you go into a room and you feel awkward. You feel that feeling, right? Or you go somewhere and you don't feel like I belong here. Or you go somewhere and you feel really good vibration. Whatever you feel, that's what I'm doing here. When I try to connect with Sebastian, I've never had anything anywhere else happen but Drake's Creek. And so I keep coming back. I'm coming back so much on my own. And then when the guides started getting involved, it's what I call the mediums and the psychics, they keep leading me here as well. So what are we talking about tonight when we talk about Sebastian Rogers? Real quick on the search, I'm going to pull up this video and we'll watch it. So you see Drake's Creek. Okay, it was flowing like a river. I wonder what it looks like a week now. I don't know if they've been getting rain still, but if they were, it's probably even bigger. I never thought this body of water could carry anybody small or large, down towards the Cumberland River, which it meets about 8 miles from where I am, and until I saw what I saw. And so that just added to everything that I just told you about why I go to Drake's Creek. There was no access in Drake's Creek as far as physically getting into that water without being swept down. You'll see in this video I'm about to show from the search why the reason I'm reaching in with my shovel and trying to see something. There's a stick in there that had kind of a whitish color, bonish color look to it, and I was trying to make sure it was actually a branch and not a bone. And I didn't want to step right here. I didn't want to step because that water's right there, and it could give with me. I could have, slipped in. So anyway, but that's not what we're here. We're here because of this. Okay, so the search. Talk about feelings. I did not get the same feelings that I had when I was there last, when I found the quote unquote bone that was allegedly plastic. But I also didn't get a feeling. I got a feeling of peace, I guess you could say, more than anything. And I was focused on the elements, and the rain would come, and I would try to connect with Sebastian. The rain picked up one time when I did, and I can't sit here and say that was him trying to say something more so than maybe just the rain coming and going. But the weird feeling I had when I found quote unquote plastic bone was not there. The winds were not there for me this time. But of everything I come across and the little bit of area I got to cover with the elements, this one stood out. So I want to share it with you. Maybe you've seen it. I know there's some comments in the chat that people saw what I'm about to show you. I want to show you, first of all, a video. I want to talk about it, and then I'm going to show you a photo to where you can see it. But at the time, this is what I talk about when you come along and watch me and you search with us through the camera. I didn't see this, and had I not gone down to that area and reviewed the video later, I would have seen it and then been like, wow, I didn't even go over there. So let me share the video with you first. This was talking with Tara, and she did a video on this too, so you can check out her video on this as well, where she was listening for EVPs and stuff, and she got some in this area. Some that are, I don't want to say disturbing, but actually positive as we move forward in our search. So let's just watch this, and then I may make comment, and you'll see what we're talking about. Notice the water. Unbelievable.
On the creek bed.
So I'm trying to see there's a, not to be too graphic, but what could be like almost a knee bone, a cow. It looked like something. And sometimes branches look like bone. It was a branch.
Nothing but leaves and trees. Nothing but leaves or trees. Is that concrete? Is that concrete for real? See, I wonder. I mean, there's so many questions. You find stuff like this, concrete. I mean, what is that doing here?
So we'll start right there. What is it doing here? That's the reason for this video, and also to show people that may have not made it to this point or skipped over this point, didn't realize it. It's a good place to pause because I'm going to show you something. Look around, everyone. Okay? To give you an idea, okay, this is the best way I can do it. If I came in from the road in any direction, it's going to take me a solid 5 minutes. Okay, 4 minutes. Try to be exact. A solid 4 to 5 minutes to get to where I'm standing. Okay? The quickest way to get to where I'm standing from the road would be the creek. You can't access the creek. But even if I came from the main road through the creek, we're talking 3 to 5 minutes, maybe a minute better. So let's just use 3. So where I'm standing, there's a 3-minute walk to get to. Why is there concrete there? Okay, because you take the 2 side roads, Sandy Valley Road, Latimer Lane, and you take the main road, New Hope Road. There's no construction going on there. There's nothing happening there. Okay? And then what we're looking at, and this is why I said a good pause, I talked about, you see close up, go back and watch my search video, how they're making a property line or something here. This will be a temporary fix. Now, let's say they're going to build a fence. And if they were, that would make sense. Let's just say there was a fence being built here, and there were concrete posts there. Done. Sense. It would make sense that someone said, hey, take your excess concrete down to the creek and dump it. But, ladies and gentlemen, that's not going on up there. And you can go back in my video and watch. So, tell me why this concrete is sitting in the woods, okay, right here, sitting in the woods, random. And when I shared it with Tara, or rather I think she noticed it herself, she was saying, look around it. It looks like it's been cleaned out. So it's a very suspicious thing. What I wanted to show you is right here when I said I have a photo to show you. Take a look at this. Okay, so here's Drake's Creek, and this is me just looking around. See how it was just, I mean, this is a still photo from the video, and it's just, you can tell it's moving. This is New Hope Road. So I'm facing from Sebastian's home north this way. This is north, northeast, northwest. His home is back this way behind me. And look, there it is. And look how, now that I'm noticing this, all these, it's almost like this was exposed. I did not move all this brush. It was just there. Silvers 2, we went back and looked at the last video when I searched there back in December. And when I was there at night, I was all over it, but it was so dark, my flashlight wouldn't pick up. But she said something. We never got anything on video like this, so the leaves could have been covering it up. Had the leaves been covering it, I wouldn't have noticed it either. But here's my point I mentioned earlier. Had I been reviewing my video and not actually touched it as you saw in the video I just showed you, I would have gone, what? I didn't even see that. But there it is. And it just got picked up. I try to position the GoPro to where you're seeing kind of my eye level, but also not missing the ground. You know, I have to look down at the ground. When I do that, the GoPro remains stationary. So I try to get it to where it sees, you know, right down here, the ground, as well as this view, because we don't really need to see as much up. We want to see straight ahead in the ground more than anything. That's what we're looking for. Something suspicious, a piece of evidence, a bone or something on the ground that could bring us to Sebastian. So, Sebastian Rogers, let's take a moment. We talk about this. I'd urge all creators, when you're doing any type of video about Sebastian, after a few minutes, just take time and say his name, Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. That's what we're here for. He's been gone way too long. We're at a year almost in a few days, and we need to find him. So there it is. That, I think, might have been even a better thumbnail than what I did share, which is right here. That's the one you're going to click on. But maybe this was a better one. Why is there concrete? Why right here? Now, I'll give you theories. This is speculation, not to be taken as fact. Disclaimer on the wall. There's a lot of different theories here, okay? But there's holes as you go through here. There are holes in the ground, okay, that are natural holes. Is there a possibility of Sebastian possibly finding himself in one of these or being placed in one of these? And I think as someone commented, simply take a bag of concrete, pour it over, and you can just let the water, you can just let the rains do its job. Or you take a bucket and pour it and you go from there. I don't want to sound morbid. I don't want to sound uncaring. I think we know by now, Silvers 2 and I care greatly about Sebastian. All we want is him to be found. Everything else can be done once we find him. But the guides that led me here to a log right on the river, they kept saying river a lot of times. I said, it's a creek, it's a creek. And then we see that, hey, at least last weekend, it was definitely a river. But if you go back to here, you'll see how this log sits right on the thing. So just imagine this looked like this almost a year ago, and Sebastian was running from someone, and he tucked up under here, right? He tucked up under here. And let's just say, allegedly, in my opinion, theories here. Theories, people. Remember this. This is theories. That either he's being chased or he's run from the house. Because what do we say? He didn't just leave the house because he was happy. Oh, I'm so happy I don't want to walk out of the house. No, something was going on. My opinion, he was taken out of the house. However, he could have ran out of the house. This is 2.7 miles from his home. It's not that far, especially for a, at the time, 15-year-old who's 5'5", 120, they say. So he could probably run 10 miles before he even was winded. If he took off running, if you know the area, you can. He comes out of the back of his home, let's say, and he just runs straight. Then he goes straight to the through his high school, and maybe then he cuts up and he finds himself on Drake's Creek. And this, what I mean is, this is a perfect place to hide if you're running from someone. Okay, it is also a perfect place to place someone if you're trying to hide them. Now, people can correct me on my next statement, but I'm going to say it anyway because I believe I think I know what I'm talking about here. I thought originally the search for Sebastian, the big, thousands of people or whatever it was that was out there in those first few weeks, was a 5-mile radius. So here's the thing. A radius is from a position out. So middle out. I was shared a search map with different people I've talked to, researching the case, working with different sets of people, and looking at this search map, it was a 5-mile diameter. Now, if I'm wrong, people can tell me this. So a diameter would be 5 miles from one end to the other with Sebastian's home in the middle. A radius would be from his home out in either direction. Originally, I thought it was out in either direction 5 miles. Ladies and gentlemen, to me, it looks like it was out in every direction 2.5 miles, which means all the way around a 5 mile, but 2.5 in one direction. Let's go north 2.5. Let's go south 2.5. Let's go northeast 2.5. Well, where I'm standing with this concrete is 2.7, just outside of the search. So when you go back to something like this, and I'm not trying to create anything more than speculation here, that's all we have, right? We're trying to find Sebastian. Could he have found himself here, either by someone else's hands or by his own? Great place to tuck in there, to keep dry, to hide. And if placed there or on his own was found at a later date, what does that have to do, if anything, with this concrete? And if you're aware of where this is, I'm not going to tell you specifically, and you know why that concrete's there, drop me a comment. Send me an email, silversonthescene@yahoo.com. 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 Which, by the way, on those emails, I've been really behind on them. I'm about to do some of those too now and get some answers to you. Thank you for your support in trying to find Sebastian Rogers. So there it is. We were out there, and I guess from an odd standpoint, this would be one of the bigger question marks. There was some clothing, ripped shirt, shoe. One shoe I don't think it got on video. It looked more like a lady's slipper. The other like a man's boot. So there were some question marks. This area seems very suspicious to me. Across this way, just down a little bit, there's a place you can pull a vehicle in. You can pull off the road here. You can pull off the road on either side. So, there's been a lot of people that have said, hey, Sebastian was taken from the home. Maybe allegedly they thought something was wrong, that he was hurt to the point of unalive. But then he came to and ran, once he got away from the home, and maybe it was in this area. There's a lot of possibilities. So anyway, if you have a way of breaking this up, I'm not going to be back in the area for a few weeks. Send me an email. I can get you to where it is, and we can break it up, because I think you can dig around it. And if it is just discarded concrete from whatever someone was using concrete, go back to the video. The one possibility, and I'll make a point to say this, I don't think any of these stakes are rooted in concrete, but they could have used it for some reason. And then the person was sent down to the creek to discard the concrete, and they didn't get actually into the water, and they dropped it right here. I don't know. I think that actually sounds more suspicious than someone actually putting this concrete there for some reason to hide something. Could just be evidence too. That's the other thing. What if allegedly something was done to Sebastian, and it happened here, and his body was taken somewhere else, but evidence was stuck in a hole and put concrete over it. I don't know. I don't know. So there it is. Why is there concrete in the woods? 363 days. That's 11 months and 4 weeks. Sebastian Rogers has been gone. Say his name. Keep his awareness alive. Ask questions. Look at everything that's being put out there, from this video to that video. All these hours of supposedly security footage. Why was nothing caught, on tape? I'll say this. For the private eye, I'm not going to mention the name. We all know who when I say that. That's working with the Proud Feet. For that private eye, the one thing I would love to see is when they were on the Lore Lodge, a question was asked about the test they did. That supposedly from the house across the street, they did tests to show how dark it was in the wee morning hours, that if someone had to come out the front door, you wouldn't have been able to see them. I'd love to see that video. I'd love to see those tests. If it really was that dark and you couldn't see any kind of shadow or anything moving, which makes sense to me. If that house was not lit and you open that front door and you walk out, no light behind you, you probably wouldn't be detected. And maybe that's the quick answer. And if you think he walked out the front door, okay, let me run this by you. Now the more I'm thinking about it, I'm going to say this. Chris and Katie Proudfoot, why don't you have your private eye release those videos? If they truly did test that video from across the street could not pick up someone leaving the home because it's so damn dark, then why haven't you had your private eye release it? Is it because, allegedly, my opinion, check the disclaimer on, say, I get hyped up, ladies and gentlemen. Sebastian Rogers was done wrong. Okay? And that's why I'm here doing what I can. Because I don't like seeing any person, I don't care how old they are, being done wrong. And if Seth Rogers is listening, or if anyone's listening who can tell him what I'm about to say, that's why I'm fighting for your son. That's why I'm looking for your son. Because I don't believe you did him wrong. But I do believe others did. Close people in his life. And I'm doing my best to find him so we can bring those people to justice. Because listen to me, if I'm stepdad or I'm mom and I'm watching, and I know you know they watched, their private eye being interviewed live, where I think it got up to 6,500 or 7,000 people watching, and he wanted to bring up the test they did, boast your chest, right? King Kong, we did these tests, and you can't see somebody coming out of the house in the wee early, then share that with us. Because just like Aiden on the Lore Lodge said, if you share it with us, it'll eliminate a lot of questions. Because what is our number one question? One of the comments, Silvers 2 told me about the last video, I think you never left the house. Well, you know what? I can't disagree with you. If you want to say to me, Silvers, he's either in a home or he's being kept somewhere hidden. He's unalive, possibly in the woods where I search, or he's still in the home. I'm going to take either the woods or the home, 1 and 2. But if you show me a video that shows how dark it is on the front door and that we couldn't see someone go in or come out, then maybe he did walk out on his own or ran out on his own. That's what frustrates Silvers on the scene so much, the distraction. I mean, imagine I come on here and tell you guys, hey, I saw some concrete in the woods and it was very suspicious. You should just trust me that I saw it. No, I'm showing it to you. Right here it is. Right? I saw it. You saw it. You've already seen it if you've watched my video. I don't think you're ever going to see me come on here and tell you something that I saw or I witnessed or I came across or I did unless I've been told not to by law enforcement. Right? Had Detective Carter told me, hey, I don't know what this is, but don't mention it on your video, I would have never shown anyone out of respect for the case and what they're trying to do, right? But that was never discussed. And then when it was verified by him that it was plastic, if it's not, then that's what you told me, right? So if it's plastic, what does it matter to show everybody? So anyway, I'm getting a little off topic, but I start thinking about these things, and it's like, why show us a video that allegedly law enforcement's already verified that was someone walking their dog, okay? Why show us that video? Why show us a clip or a still shot from behind the home, right? Why not show us the clip you might have of the common area? Why turn the common area? Why do all these things when as a whole we ask for something? Everybody's wondering, how could he have gone out the front door? Mom says he went out the front door. Stepdad says he went out the front door. Well, if there was a test done, show us. Show us. But what if that test, you could see someone coming out the front door? Oh, snap. Anyway, that's all I'll say about that. Let's get back to where I was at. The search, gone 363 days. We're coming up on a year. Say his name, Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. I wanted to address the signs too. I hope no one took and misconstrued. I'm not trying to bust any locals there. I know there were storms coming through, and those signs most likely went down maybe even the day I was there. I just happened to see them and put them back up. But I do question at times who would drive by knowing those signs are there and not just go over. Look, you saw my videos. It takes a minute. You put it back up, except for the one I had to prop up with the rock. Let's just keep his awareness alive, okay? Let's keep his awareness alive so we can find him and get justice. I guess that's it. So let me know what you think about this concrete in the woods. Why is it there? I have found concrete in the woods, Memphis. I found it, I believe, even in Hendersonville and other areas, not near Drake's Creek. Actually, near Drake's Creek, but see my pointer is right here? I'm trying to move it. So up here, pull over the road and drop it out right here, not over here. Why is it over here? And then if you go and look at the video and you see that, look at this. See what's going on over here? There's no concrete needed, okay? So anyway, why is there concrete in the woods? Where is Sebastian Rogers? Let's find him and bring him home. Okay, so that's it for tonight. And I'll get to some emails. Thank you all for your support. And like I said, the least you can do, minimum, is say his name. Sebastian, you're not forgotten. If you hear this, if you're out there somewhere, you say your name to someone so we can bring you home. Thank you, everyone. Have a great Sunday evening. And as always, Silver's on the scene. Stay tuned. More to come. Have a great week, too. We'll be back shortly. Thank you. Good night. Say his name. Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. Thank you.